Good Shabbos, good Shabbos. I get Shabbos, good Shabbos.
So in this week's Parsha we learn about Bilam. Bilam had the diploma in Klolos. That was his specialty. He was the mumche for Klolos. Questionable profession chose for himself, but from the entire world, people paid a lot of money to Bilam to come and curse their enemies. And Balak pays a lot of money for Bilam to come to be Makalal B'nai Yisrael. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu mahapech klola lebracha. The Gemara in Brochus Daf Daled and Avodah Zorah Daf Zayin says, what was Bilam's specialty? He knew the rega commemorate that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was in wrath every day. Chazal say there was one rega commemorate, a split second, or a fraction of a second, in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu koyes, Bilam was a Navi. He knew when that time is, and in that moment, if you give a curse, it's terrible. Tosfos asks, what could you say in a moment? What could you say in a second? Till you open your mouth, it's over. It's a fleeting moment. So how much curses could one put into a rega kememra? Tosfos said, he said one word, kaleim, destroy them. One word, nothing more. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes kaleim, and he turns around the letters. If you read it the other way, it's melech. And that is what the Pasuk says. Melech is kaleim. Kodesh Baruch Hu turns kaleim into melech. And I ask, does the Kodesh Baruch Hu need to play around with letters? The Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to ignore Bilam's klolos, he just throws them out of the window. Well, what's the Kodesh Baruch Hu's problem? He needs to play around with letters and turn kaleim into melech. What's the inyan? Libi yoimali. Ashrei is a very special perek in Tehillim. We say Ashrei a few times every day. And in this tefillah, Tehillah LeDavid, which we start with Ashrei Yosh V'Veisecha, there are 3 psukim that deal with Malchus Shemayim. Do you remember which 3? Kvoid Malchus Shemayim Gvirasu Yidaberu, Lo Yidiyah Levnei Yodim Gviraisa V'Kvoid Yidam Malchusai, Malchus Cho Malchus Kol Olamim U'Memshalto Cho V'Chol Doi V'Dor. Realize that these 3 psukim are Chof Lamed Mem, Oisi Es Kaleim. So the 3 letters, Kaleim and Ashrei, are the only 3 psukim that deal with Malchus Shemayim. Libi Yoimeli, Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Bilam, you're a prophet, but you're a stupid fool as well. Because if they go, so do you. If they go, everyone goes. If they go, the world goes. Because what's Tachlis Abriya? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create this world? In the side of Esas Firos, Olam Asiyah is Malchus. Olam Asiyah is the world we live in, the world we know, the world our senses recognize, and that is Malchus. A king could rule by force, but that's not a real kingship. A king wants to be appreciated by his subjects. He wants to be loved. So Kodesh Baruch Hu created this world. And this is the only world in which people have Bechira. Uvecharto B'chaim. And we are the ones that are Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Yolamai. We are the only ones that Ashreinu Ma'torif Cholkeinu. Umiyachtem Shemoy Pamayim B'Kol Yoim B'Ahava. And we say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And that is Tachlis Abriya, Malchus Shemayim. And we are the only ones that recognize Kodesh Baruch Hu as Melech HaOlam, and we are Miyachid Shemoy. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says, Bilam, you say Kaleim, So what's going to be with Malchus? Don't you realize if they go, everyone goes. There's no point. No tachlis in the bria. And that is oimek hasoid of Kalem and Melech. If Kalem, there is no Melech, there is no Malchus, there is no world. There's no point in this entire creation. And that is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu turns Kalem into Melech. And the three psukim in Ashrei dealing with Malchus Shemayim are Oisias, Kof, Lamed, Mem. Another important Yesod in Siddur Agra, in Ashrei Avolotzion, on the Posek, Begvurois Yesha Yeminoi, the Gaon explains. There's an internal contradiction in this Posek. Gvurois is Midas Adin, and Yemin is Rachamim. Smal Doichem Min Mekareves, Smal is Din, Yemin is Rachamim. So what's the Posek? Begvurois Yesha Yeminoi. So the Gaon says, the biggest rachamim and the greatest rachamim are the rachamim that are yotzei midas adin. When din is nefach larachamim, that is the greatest midas rachamim, and that's the side of begurus yesheminoi, and that is why we say mechal kel chayim b'chesed in beches agvuros. The second brocha in Shmoines is beches agvuros, gvuros gishomim, gvuros is din. And that is where we say Machal Kel Chaim B'Chesed. Because the greatest Rachamim, Yoitze Memidas Adin. In Sichas Mechasoshe Chelek Aleph, I wrote a big arichas about this. The Ramban in Parshas V'Zoysa Brocho, on the Posek Mi Yaminoi Eish Das Lomoi, the Ramban says the same. Yamin is Rachamim, Eish is Din. Eish is Din, Mayim is Rachamim. Miyaminoi eish das lomoi. The Ramban writes, this posuk has a soid godel, shemidas adin klula berachamim. And that is the soid of klolos shenefach lebrocha. Dafka the klolos of Bilam, which are the most horrific and terrible klolos ever. Kodesh Baruch Hu is mahapach klola lebrocha. Kodesh Baruch Hu he could disregard the klolos. Chaval. When the klol is nefech lebrocha and midas adin is mishpia rachamim, those are the rachamim gedolim. Liyosed Lovei, the Gemara says in Shabbos Peites, Kodesh Baruch Hu will turn to Avraham Avinu and tell him chatu bonecha, and Avraham will angrily respond, Yemochu al kedush hashimcha. Kodesh Baruch Hu will be disappointed. It's not what I expected you to say. Kodesh Baruch Hu will say, Avraham Avinu didn't know what's Tzar Gidl Abonim. Let's turn to Yankov. Yankov knew what's Tzar Gidl Abonim. Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Yankov, Chatu Benecho. Surprisingly, Yankov responds exactly the way Avraham did. Yamachu al Kedush Shimcha. And Kodesh Baruch Hu will say, Lo b'savet dami, v'lo b'darde ke'etza. Avraham is too old. Yankov is too young. Let's hear what Yitzchak has to say. Now, Avraham koloi chesed. Titn chesed Avraham. Yankov is teferes, which is a combination of din and chesed. Pachad Yitzchak is koloi din. How does Yitzchak respond? Kodesh Baruch Hu tells him, Chatu bonecho. And he says, what did you say? Chatu bonai, they're my children? Aren't they your children? You are the one that said, B'yetzias Mitzrayim b'ni b'choyri Yisrael. So why do you turn to me and say, Chatu bonecho? They're not my children, they're your children. And then Yitzchak will say, let's make a cheshbon. Yemeshin is any shiv mishona. 50% of the time people sleep or are not in Beis HaKisah. So how much is left? 35. Till Ad Esrim Shono, B'chlal, Beis Shono Ma'al is not done. So what are we talking about? 25 years. Pal Galai Pal Galach. Pilei Plois. Avraham Chesed has nothing nice to say about us. Neither does Yankov Avinu. And Dafke Yitzchak is the one. He will be the Melitz Yosha. Yes. Because La'osad Lovei V'sofa Yomim. We will need such gewaltige chasodim. The Midas Adin will be so difficult. only Yitzchak, only Din could be Mishpia Darachamim, that we will need in the end of days. And that will be Al Yedei Yitzchak Avinu. So, we are still in the midst of a very difficult tkufa for Klal Yisrael and Etzisur and the entire world. Yerotzen, we should see Midas Adin Nefach Larachamim, and Klolo is Nefach Lebrocho, and all the brochas of Bilim should be Neskayim, and we should Zoicha Bekorav B'Yameinu to a Yeshua Seilamim, and to see Bias Moshiach Tzedkenu, B'Mheira B'Yameinu, Amen.